This movie Back in Time is a typical example of a child suffering for the mistakes of her parents. Ruth Kadiri brings us another interesting storyline, and of course, with a lesson behind the narrative. Now, should this be on your watch list? So the storyline follows Duru Timi, played by Ruth Kadiri, a lady who finds herself in an unfortunate situation where she has to make a deal with a drug dealer, Yusuf, played by Deza The Great. All this just to save her mother's life. Now, will Duru Timi keep to her own part of the deal? Now, the narrative of this movie was quite nice and also intriguing at the same time. The movie delves into the themes of love, karma, resilience, vengeance, forgiveness, and more. While watching this movie, you'd like to know how everything unfolds. The movie isn't boring at all. And gosh, Deza the Great really enacted his role really well. He made this character, Yusuf, seem custom made for him. The body language, the facial expressions, and even his manner of speaking really aided him in playing the character of Yusuf, which was a drug dealer. Deza the Great played this role really well. The aura for a drug dealer was there. He slayed this role. One more thing that will catch your eye in this movie. Well, I'm sure everyone that has seen the movie noticed it. There's no way you watched this movie and you didn't notice that the setting this movie came with was really exquisite. It really suited the whole plot. The backdrop that this movie came with suited the narrative a lot. Every inch of the house was just looking so demure. And for a drug lord who is actually doing well in his line of business, the setting really suited the character Yusuf being a wealthy drug dealer. And there's one thing with Ruth Kadiri movies. She has one of the best blend of soundtracks that have a way of suiting each mood and atmosphere of different scenes. Yes, her soundtracks really complement her movies a lot. Now, as for her acting, Ruth Kadiri performance here was praiseworthy as usual. Facial expressions were on point and she makes acting look easy and natural. Genevieve, also being one of the cast of this show, gave a commendable performance. And I actually think that her acting got a lot more better. But if there is a cast who really outdid herself in playing her character well here, that would be Oby Titus, who played the character of Duru Timi's mom. Her character was condescending, unremorseful, merciless, and obstinate. She was basically a hateful character to me. The character, not the actress. And Oby Titus portrayed that character really well. She outdid herself. Thank God for her character dynamic later on in the movie. If that was sincere, because I didn't actually feel the sincerity. And it was as if the movie featured a few foreign casts here, just like the character Susie and even the bodyguard and the police officer. Speaking of that police officer, I have something to say about his character. I'll get to that later on. Now, one more thing that contributed to making this movie worth watching is actually the cinematography. The camera angles were really nice, just like the wide shot of location which pinpointed the backdrop that the movie came with. The close-ups, the camera movements, everything were really nice. And even the lighting too was really good. The lighting didn't flicker, it was consistent. It doesn't just go bright and dark all of a sudden. Shout out to the cinematographer of this movie, Odunlami Odediran. Shout out to him. Now, for the downside of the movie. It has to do with the characters, but yeah. Now, there was a character named Osaz in this movie, one of Yusuf's girls. And honestly speaking, I think that character was not utilized properly at all. Other Yusuf girls had more screen time and were given more importance, but this character, I was noticing her while watching the movie. She didn't get much dialogue. She was just there as if she was an extra. And like I said, she didn't get much dialogue in this movie aside the scene where she introduced herself. Yeah. And I still kept on keeping tabs on her. She was later on replaced in this movie. Another lady came and replaced her. I don't know if anyone else noticed. She was replaced in the movie, but later on brought back and still was not utilized properly. She was just there, smiling, 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 body gestures, and all that. Now, for the second negative part, which also has to do with some characters too. I mentioned earlier that I had something to say about a police officer. Well, here it is. Now, the two characters, the detective and the officer, I don't really think much authenticity was done to their characters. Well, their career aspects per se. The detective, which was played by Maryrose Emeka, no doubt that she enacted her role well. Her acting was flawless. But for a detective swooping into someone's house without any gun, like when she first came into the house during this scene, displaying right here, when she came into the house, just using her hands to give orders, it wasn't giving that authority like that. And as for the officer she came with, when this guy swooped in, I thought he had back pain because he constantly had his hand at his back, yes. And I know an object was behind his back, yes, which was purposely made to seem as if he was holding a gun. But when he swooped in, I honestly thought he had back pain. It was looking so awkward. Something was there, but I know it's definitely not a gun. It wasn't a gun at all. Their acting was good, but I don't know, no authenticity to their career aspect. So yeah, I don't actually think that these characters were utilized well. First one wasn't utilized well, and the second two, their acting was good, but their career aspect wasn't looking so authentic. I don't know if it was with the directing, but aside all that, the narrative was really compelling, praiseworthy cinematography, nice soundtracks, nice performance. The pacing too was good, having a duration of 2 hours and 13 minutes. So I think I'll be giving Back in Time a 4 out of 5 thumbs up. Thank you all for watching. If you've seen the movie, what did you think about it? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you next time on my review. Bye.